Okay. Praise the Most High Yah. Let's look at Deuteronomy 30, and then we're going to go into, because Deuteronomy chapter 30, right? This is the one of the many prophecies of our awakening. Okay, that Deuteronomy 30 is one of the many prophecies of our awakening, and so I remember, um, as I testified, when an angel did come to me many years ago, and I would be lying if I said an angel did not come to me, but an angel did come to me, and he was smiling at me. Um, and he knew all about me, knew all about my family. I didn't realize it was an angel. I mean, because I was stressed at the time, very stressed, and that's why he came. And he was very tall, very dark skin, very tall, very dark skin, and he had a bright smile on his face. And he was wearing dark glasses, so I couldn't see his eyes. And he was smiling at me. And at that time, I had been led to study very diligently Deuteronomy 28. And it wasn't until many years later that I put it all together and I realized what was going on and how the Most High was leading me. And one of the things he led me to do after my study of Deuteronomy 28, I kept reading Deuteronomy, and then I got to chapter 30, and there was something about chapter 30. And I didn't recognize at the time what it was because I was still in Christianity at the time. I didn't understand, but I was led to actually memorize the whole chapter of Deuteronomy chapter 30. Now, many years later, that was in the 1980s. That was in the 1980s. Testing 1 2 3. Can you hear me? Testing 1 2 3. Okay, because okay, so there might be a problem in Pal Talk because in Hangouts now. Got it in Hangouts, and so you guys should be started the broadcast already. Okay, so so you guys may need to come out and go back in Pal Talk because Hangouts got it and Pal Talk does not. And I'm showing a microphone on Pal Talk, so you guys may need to go out and come back in. Could some of y'all tell them? Um, so anyway, I was led to memorize the entire chapter of Deuteronomy 30, which I did. And that was in the 1980s. And so now, 30 something years later, I'm looking back and realizing as the Most High is bringing all these things and awakening us that Deuteronomy 30 is the chapter or one of the chapters of our awakening in these last days of this earth as it is in sin. It's going to not be in sin when the kingdom, when the Most High brings the Messiah the second time, and the Messiah ends the rule of this earth. Um, oh, I see. Yeah, I see my Pal Talk has been disconnected. Okay, that's all right. Let me go. I'm going to go out and come back in. Oh, well, the Pal Talk has been disconnected. You guys in Hangouts can hear me, but the Pal Talk has been disconnected. So I'm going to come. I'm going to go out and come back in on the Pal Talk side. Yeah, hang on 1 second. Let me do that. Yeah, Pal Talk was disconnected. Testing 1 2 3. Can you hear me on Pal Talk? Testing. You know, it's disconnected still. The audio is disconnected in Pal Talk. It's amazing, isn't it? How the enemy is working so hard to stop a simple, poor guy like myself from putting through a message, even on the internet. That's how scared they are, but it's all good. It's all good because the spirit of the Most High cannot be stopped. And if it's not me, it'll be somebody else. And so we praise the Most High for it. So it's all good. It's all good. I'm going to come out of Power Talk and come back in. For you that are listening to the recording, that's what's going on right now. We're in Power Talk as well. A number of people listen on Power Talk, and so we're having to come out of Power Talk and come back in because the audio was disconnected on Power Talk, and it's not unusual. Usually it happens when we study Revelation, but as we're getting most of the messages from the Most High in these last days for His people, we are okay. Testing 1 2 3. Can you hear me? Testing 1 2 3. Can you hear me on Pal Talk? Testing 1 2 3. Okay, good. All right, good. All right. They've been hearing me in Hangouts, but the Pal Talk was giving us problems. Praise the Most High, yeah. Praise the Most High. So as I was saying, I was led to memorize the entire chapter of Deuteronomy 30. And later on, many years later, like I said, that was the 1980s. Many years later, here I am understanding by the Most High's grace, and I mean that sincerely, by his grace and power, I am understanding that Deuteronomy 30 is one of the places, one of the many places that show the awakening of the chosen people in the last days of this earth the way it is. And I say the last days of earth's history, what I mean it's history of sin, because we're going to be dwelling on the earth. The earth is going to be made new. The heavens and the earth are going to be redone. Praise the Most High. Should I say renewed? It's going to be renewed to what it was in its Edenic power, in its Edenic beauty, once sin is destroyed in this Babylonian system, as we're going to study today, as a matter of fact, in Ezekiel chapter 6. And this Babylonian system is going to be destroyed and annihilated, and it's going to be as if it never existed once the Most High is finished the work that he's doing. And this work begins with our awakening. That is the awakening of his chosen people who have been in sin, who have been in iniquity, who have been dishonoring him among the heathen. Now, as we are being awakened, it's the sign. It is the sign that all things are going to be changing. So let's look at Deuteronomy chapter 30. We'll be reading the entire chapter this morning. Deuteronomy 30 is going to start from verses 1 to 10 as we normally do, and then we'll continue from verse 11 to 15, and then from 15 to the end, which is only 20 verses long. Let's look at Deuteronomy chapter 30. Notice what it says. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither Yahweh thy Most High hath driven thee, and shalt return unto Yahweh thy Most High, and shalt obey his voice, according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that then Yahweh thy Most High will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations where the Yahweh thy Most High have scattered thee, if any of them be driven out to the outmost parts of heaven. From thence will Yahweh thy Most High gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And Yahweh thy Most High will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy father. And Yahweh thy Most High will circumcise thy heart and the heart of thy seed, to love Yahweh thy Most High with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And Yahweh thy Most High will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of Yahweh, and do all his commandments which I command thee this day. And Yahweh thy Most High will make thee plenteous in every work of thy hand, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land, for good. For Yahweh will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy fathers, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy Most High, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which are written in this book of the law. And if thou turn unto Yahweh thy Most High with all thy heart and with all thy soul. Verses 11 now to 15. For this commandment which I command thee this day, it is not hidden from thee, neither is it afar off. It is not in heaven that thou shouldest say, who shall go up for us to heaven and bring it unto us that we may hear it and do it? Neither is it beyond the sea that thou shouldest say, who shall go over the sea for us and bring it unto us that we may hear it and do it? But the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, that thou mayest do it. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil, from verses 16 to 20. In that I command thee this day to love Yahweh thy Most High, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. And Yahweh thy Most High shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. But if thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shalt be drawn away and worship other gods and serve them, I denounce unto you this day that ye shall surely perish, and that ye shall not prolong your days upon the land whither thou passest over Jordan to go to possess it. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live, that thou mayest love Yahweh thy Most High, that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him. For he is thy life and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which Yahweh sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them. Praise the Most High Yah. So we can see, obviously, this is a sign of the awakening. He's already telling us. He set before us life and death, blessing and cursing. He's telling us to choose life. He set before us the word. He is awakening us to understand the word is right here. There's no secret to it. Obedience is the way, brothers and sisters. The secret was this. We didn't know how to obey. We did not have power to obey before. That's the secret, brothers and sisters. We knew we needed to obey, and we had Christians and infidels telling us, "Oh, you can't obey those scriptures. Those are old scriptures. Those are done away with. You can't obey that. You are under grace now." We've been told this. It's part of our slavery. It was part of our slavery. But now, as we have been studying the scriptures, the Father's Spirit has made it known to us that he will give us his power of righteousness, because the Father is righteousness, that this thing is based, this whole kingdom is a kingdom of righteousness, and that he will give us power to obey. And he has indeed given us power to obey. That's what the gospel really is. See, we have been told the gospel is good news. What good news is it? That the law is done away with? That Jesus, little baby white Jesus came? And that we celebrate December 25th for some fat Santa Claus? Huh? Was that what the good news is? No. The good news is that the righteousness of the Father is revealed. The righteousness of the Father is revealed. Praise the Most High God. It is the power unto salvation to his chosen people first, and then to the Gentiles. Praise the Most High God. And now he's showing us, he's prophesying, he's telling us. He's telling us it's going to come to pass. These curses are coming upon you, and the blessing and the curses come upon you. After it's come upon you, you're going to call them to mind. You're going to remember from whence you've fallen, who you really are. Matter of fact, we know the scriptures tell us we're going to be changing our names. Isaiah 44 shows us we're going to be changing our name, taking off these slave names of the heathen, like Smith and Jones, and Bunch and Robinson and Jefferson and Washington, O'Donnell, O'Leary. We're going to be taking off these heathen names and putting on names like Yahweh, like Sadak, like Gabar, like Yisrael. We're going to be taking on names that come close to who we were before we started falling. Praise the Most High. It says it. Isaiah 44 says it. We're going to start taking on names because we don't know what our names was. They stole our names from us. Yeah, and Todd. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We're going to be taking back on the names that we're supposed to have. Praise the Most High. Yeah. Names like what we're going to get when we get to the kingdom. Names like we're going to get. We don't know the names we're going to get, but we're going to definitely have different names. I could guarantee you one thing. When we get to the kingdom, when Messiah, Mashiach Yahushua, when he shows up, we're not going to have Smith and Jones and O'Leary. We're not going to have Cohen and Weinstein and Smith. That's not going to be our names when we get to the kingdom. I can guarantee you that. What they're going to be? I don't know, but they're going to be Hebrew names. I can tell you that. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. He's going to return unto us a pure language. The scripture tells us he's going to return unto us a pure language. We don't even know the language properly, but that's okay. He's going to return unto us a pure language. You know why, brothers and sisters? Because it's his spirit. Praise the Most High. His spirit cannot be stopped. Messiah tried to tell Nicodemus, the wind blows, you can't tell where it's coming from, or where it's going, but you can't stop it. The spirit is just like that. That's what he's trying to tell Nicodemus. The spirit is just like that. When the Father's spirit comes, you can't stop it. They know FBI, CIA, nobody could stop the Father's spirit from doing what it's going to do. Praise the Most High. Yeah. So As we're going to study today, we're looking at Ezekiel chapter 6. But as usual, before we do, let's get some backdrop, okay? Let's get some backdrop like we did last night when we studying a little bit about our history and we studying our father Abraham. And here it tells us in Deuteronomy 30, the land which he swore to the fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to give them. Yes, praise the Most High. But before we do, let's look at this now. I want to show you something. Let's go to Ephesians for a moment. Let's go to Ephesians. I'm going to look at Ephesians. Ephesians, of course, as we were talking about last night, you know, the apostle Shaul, who changed his name to Paul, the apostle was used by the Most High to write most of these letters, these epistles that make up what's called the New Testament. Now, as Hebrews that we are awakening, we totally understand. Listen carefully. The New Testament is not new in the sense that it's a new doctrine, in the sense that it's something that didn't exist before. See, that's where the pagans and the Gentiles come in trying to mess us up. That's not what New Testament means. What it really means is renewed. Are you following me? Testing 1, 2, 3. It means renewed. That's what's going on. Because he's taking his same law, right? And he's writing it in the hearts of his people, and he's awakening them. Because you know, the Most High don't make no mistakes. When he gave us his law, it's not like he had to change it. He had to make a mistake. It's, oh, I messed up when I gave you all the law the first time. I messed up. Let me make it different now to make it easier for you to keep. No, he didn't make no mistake. Us made the mistake. Our fathers messed up. Okay? And pagans done told us this is all new. This is a new religion. In fact, we're going to give it a name, Christianity. It's a new religion, where you don't ever see anywhere in the scriptures where Abraham, Isaac, or our father Yaakov, or the Mashiach Yahushua himself told us that they were going to make up this new religion and cast the old, what he gave us, aside. No, as a matter of fact, the problem really was that what the Mashiach Yahushua was showing us, as we know now, is that man started adding to his word and taking away from his word. And he has taught us from the book of the law. He said that if you add or take away from my word, it's not my word anymore. And Mashiach Yahushua, when he came on the scene, representing the very spirit of his father, representing the essence of what his father is, he was doing away with that stuff. He was doing away with it left and right. And people thought it was a new religion. It's not a new religion. The new religion is the one that man made when they add to or take away from the Most High's word. That's the new religion. Ain't no new religion. It has never changed. The New Jerusalem is eternal. Father had that from the beginning. He knew who his chosen people was. When he created Adam on the earth, he already knew that he was going to have a New Jerusalem. He already knew he was going to have 12 tribes with the names of the tribes on it. He already knew that. He's the beginning and the end, Alpha and Omega. He ain't surprised by any of this stuff. Come on now. And he's getting his people ready so that we're not surprised by any of this stuff. Only pagans are surprised by these things. Because pagans they don't convince themselves, they don't play from the devil's playbook. And the devil's playbook, the rule number 1 in the devil's playbook has been exposed by the Most High. And this rule number 1 is you as a human being can be a God. That's rule number 1 in the devil's playbook. And all of his game is based on that. That's where you get narcissism from. Narcissism, look that up. Supremely self-centered is narcissist. Supremely concerned with only self. The very material from which you can be taught that you can be a God. Okay? The narcissist came into being with Satan's decision that he's going to try to be a God. And it's the number 1 rule in his playbook. You can create your own religion, your own church. You can be the head of your own thing. And let me tell you, the powers that be play on that with regard to you true Hebrews, you so-called African Americans, how they play on it. The FBI and the CIA, Hoover, they got documents. They call it the Messiah syndrome. And you know what happened? They decided, okay, we're going to make them a Messiah. So they created the messiahs for us. First, the white Jesus. Way before the FBI and them existed, the Catholic Church created white Jesus for us to worship, us to think that they're superior to us. It's a sad thing, man. I know some people very close to me, family even, that think Caucasian people are better than black people. And why they think that? Because we've been brainwashed to think that. Because of white Jesus, among all the other stuff. That's why this Christianity, man, needs to go. If you start awakening, you understand it needs to go. And then they'll come to you and say, well, color doesn't matter. It's amazing how this very people that created white Jesus going to try to turn around and tell you color doesn't matter. Isn't that amazing? That's amazing to me. That is the epitome of hypocrisy. You're going to create the thing, then when we get hip to it, we start waking up, you go, oh, hey, that color doesn't matter. It's too late now. That cat's out the bag, baby. And it ain't coming back in. That cat's out the bag. No, today what we're going to find out, and this is the amazing thing. Let's look at Ephesians. Let's look at Ephesians, man. Ephesians chapter 4, brothers and sisters. Isha, my dear beloved Akat, Isha, could you please give us Ephesians 4? Ephesians 4 from verse 1 down to verse 7. Appreciate it. Ephesians 4, 1 to 7. Thank you, Isha. Look at what it says here. I, therefore, the prisoner of Yahweh, beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called, with all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. One body, one Spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling, one Master, one faith, one baptism, one Yah and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. But unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Messiah. See, okay. So remember now, I want y'all to understand something. When we're looking at the renewed testament, the renewed covenant, so-called New Testament, the apostle is talking here to converted Gentiles that have understood that they have been grafted in to the nation of Israel from a Hebrew Messiah. He is not talking to a bunch of pork-eating, Sunday-keeping so-called Christian. That is not who these letters are addressed to. These letters are addressed to converted people who were once called Gentile, but have been grafted in. As this very letter says, that you are now partakers of the commonwealth of Israel. This very chapter, these very Ephesians says that, chapter 2. And that's who he's writing to. So when he's talking about one Spirit, he's talking about the Father's Spirit of righteousness. You see, brothers and sisters, when it comes to unity, you and I don't have to force unity. You really don't. When you read the book of Acts, okay, you didn't see them try to force unity upon everybody. The Spirit brought unity because they were all under the same Spirit of the Father. What is that Spirit? Well, he gave us the sign right here. It's lowliness, meekness, long suffering, forbearing one another in love. That's what the Father Spirit does. Because when you meet an Ak or a Kaf that's seeking to give glory to the Father, and brothers and sisters, that's what we're talking about, right? The number one aim in life for all Israelites is to glorify the Father. We want to bring glory to the Father because that is what Messiah taught us. He said, I don't do anything on my own. He said, whatever I do is what the Father has shown me. I only came to bring honor and glory to my Father. He said, I come in my Father's name. He said, when brothers come in their own name, y'all receive them. He said, but when I come in my Father's name, you ain't giving me honor or my Father. So he was all about the glory of the Father. Gospel of John said, in the beginning was the Word was with Yah, and the Word was Yah. The same was in the beginning of Yah. I used to think that meant that the Messiah was the Father. I used to think that. But since I've been awakened, man, I start to understand. Praise the Most High for his spirit. I start to understand that Messiah was really saying he is just representing in bodily form the righteousness of his Father. And that we are created to give glory to the Father. The whole nation of Israel was brought into existence to give glory to the Father. That's why he blessed Abraham so much, because the Bible says he believed in Yahweh and the Most High counted it to him for righteousness. He trusted in the Most High when nobody else around him was. Everybody was trusting in paganism. And Abraham said, no, I'm going to trust in the God that created Adam and Enoch and Noah. I'm going to trust in that one. And because of that, it was counted to him for righteousness. The one that you can't see, that you can't build a temple to, that you can't build an idol and look at. That one. The unseen one that created the sky that's blue and the sun, the moon, and the stars, and the sea, and everything in it. That one, I'm going to trust it. And Most High said, I'm going to bless you, and I'm going to bless your children after you. I'm going to make you a nation. And he did. And the truth is, brothers and sisters, this is the only true God. I know this is going to sound crazy because there's people all over the earth. The earth it's a big world out here. And there's billions of people on the earth and they believe all kinds of things, okay? So what I'm going to say right now makes sound crazy, but he has only chosen one group of people and there's only one true God. Ain't two true gods. There's only one. And he's only shown himself to one people. In this regard, he's shown himself to the children of Abraham. And he has ordained, and it will come to pass, that the children of Abraham will point the entire planet to this one true God. It's not Allah of Muhammad. It's not him. That man at best, and I'm gonna just give him this credit, at best, he's looking through a glass darkly. At best. At worst, he's a straight up pagan, don't even know what he's talking about, because he ain't received what we got. At best, he's looking through a glass darkly. Okay? Because there's going to be a lot of pagans, as we have read, that's going to come and then they're going to be awakened. When we look at Ezekiel, remember, we look at Ezekiel 39, and it showed us that at the end, when he brings forth his children, he's going to say, then shall the heathen know that I punished my people because of the iniquity, but these are my chosen people, and this is why I had to punish them, and this is why I brought them back. He's going to show the heathen that. That's why it says to the Jew first, because none of this stuff comes off. It's not getting set off until the Israelites wake up. That's what sets it off. See, it's not going to jump off until we wake up. That's why Satan understands that, and that's why he's trying his best. I mean, he's putting forth all his supernatural power that has been given him from the Creator. He's putting all his deceivable, unrighteous power to try to destroy all the males among the Israelites. That's why he's trying to destroy the males. In his pagan, in his carnal mind, he thinks by destroying all the males, he's going to stop the program. He's not. As we talked about last night, there were 22 million of us in 1964. Malcolm X, you say 20 million black people in America, 22 million, okay? But here we are now, 20 whatever, in the new millennium, and we 46 million. That's after heroin. That's after crack cocaine. That's after flooding our neighborhoods with guns. That's after creating ghettos. That's after 3 strikes law and putting us for life in prison. That's after having us kill each other. That's after Chicago. That's after Brooklyn. That's after South Central LA. That's after all of that. We still 46 million. And the Bible says it's true. And the Egyptians were grieved because of the children of Israel. They were grieved because they were trying their best to kill all the males, and they just kept growing. Here we are, brothers and sisters. Now, we're never going to be the majority of planet Earth. That's not his purpose. See? We're not going to be the majority. Matter of fact, it's purpose that the heathen should be in the majority, so that this little minority of people 46 million on planet Earth is going to teach the whole rest of the world. including the Hamites. We read Isaiah 19. Read Isaiah 19, and you'll see the Hamites gonna come to the truth. A remnant of them as a result of the nation, a result of the Negroes receiving the truth. Even the minority of them gonna come to the truth. The Hamites. He said, "I'm gonna call Ethiopia my people, Egypt my chosen." He said it. So this minority of people is growing. And it's scaring them because even us, man, even in our minority, we scared them because there's no power on earth available to overcome the Father's Spirit. There's just nothing that can be done about that. I don't care what missile it is. I don't care what gun it is. I don't care what radar it is. I don't care what technology you got. All that is child's play. It's like it's like trying to start a fire with a candle, man. You can't do it. You can't deal with the Father's Spirit. But we understand that. But the heathen don't understand. And that's their problem. But what we need to do is continue on the path of truth and righteousness and understand that unity will come with the Father's Spirit. See, when we receive of the Father's Spirit, we'll be able to walk on water. We'll be able to raise the dead. I mean, all that will happen. I'm telling you, all that's going to happen. We'll be able to overcome all the diseases. They put diseases on us to kill us. They try to give us syphilis and gonorrhea. They tried to put Ebola. They do all the AIDS. They try to kill us. But by the Father's Spirit, all that is overcome. Because that's child's play to the Most High. That's what it is. It's child's play. He's watching them like some little kid and trying to mess with a chemistry set. All he wants is for us to awaken and come to his law and give him the honor and the praise. That's all he wants. Because death cannot even stop the kingdom from coming. Death can't stop it. Messiah already proved that. Messiah was righteous with no sin, and they put him to death, and death could not hold him. Because it's not possible. The apostle told us it's not possible that death should hold divinity. Death cannot hold divinity. Therefore, because of that same Messiah, it will not hold any of us. Oh, we might be succumbing to death temporarily. Absolutely. It's all backfire. Look, check it out. Y'all know I'm telling the truth, right? Tell me if I'm telling this truth. Check this out. So here we are. I'm a chaplain. I'm a chaplain. I'm a Christian chaplain in a hospital, 1984, 85. Okay. And this hospital that I was a chaplain in, right? I was involved with doing Bible studies and ministry to the people that were coming in for there was a 10-day treatment program at the hospital, 10 days what happened now, you had a heroin addict. It was in Harlem. Those of you that you know, in your 40s or 50s, you understand what I'm talking about. Because back in the 60s and 70s, they put heroin into Harlem. And they brought it through some brothers. Like they brought it through Nicky Barnes, and they brought it through these brothers. They brought brothers like Nicky Barnes. There was a brother like that. They did a movie, Frank Washington, and there was a lot of brothers that was like hustlers, and they brought the heroin through them into Harlem. So there was a lot of people, like at the time, I remember like you would see people with their arm all swole up or their feet all swole up because they done shot themselves so much with dirty needles, right? And it was all messed up. And sometimes they messed their veins up so much they would have to have some of their limbs amputated. I'm just telling those of you who are around, you know I'm talking the truth because that was where it was, right? So I was a chaplain in this clinic, and what they would do, they would bring the people in there for 10 days, and what they did is they gave them methadone. And what you had to do is they would give them like doses of methadone, and they drink the methadone, right? And the methadone was supposed to like take the edge off, right? And so what they do over the 10 days is they like slowly reduce the amount of methadone that the people was getting until they was very low dosage. And then when they came out after the 10 days, there was an after treatment program, and they used to give them like a little bit of methadone, much less. And they used to come and get that methadone. And the goal was to eventually reduce it so that they'd be off completely, right? That was the plan anyway. So I was the chaplain there, and I do the Bible studies and I do the preaching there in the hospital. They gave me a room and I do the preaching there, and the brothers would come in there. So I would notice, I noticed that around 85, 86, right? I mean, there was a lot of people coming there, and I noticed that like when they first came in, like the people that I would see would be, you know, like you would think they'd be without a limb, or they'd be, you know, they'd be swole up. Okay. They'd be swole up in their legs, they'd be swole up in their arms. But I noticed over the course of that year, like from 85 to say like 86, just that 1 year, between like 80, it's really started around 84, but the course of that year, 2 year period, the clientele that was coming into the hospital for the treatment was getting younger, and there were less marks on them. Like it was got to the point where I was really startled. There were these two Puerto Rican sisters, these two Puerto Ricans came in. There was one like 15, one 13. They were pretty young girls and they had no marks. And I was like, and I told my boy, I said, man, they had some boy, and one of them ended up jumping out the window to get out. Like they apparently she had to be in the program and she escaped by jumping out the window, like it was court ordered, and she jumped out the window. And I heard that what happened. I was like, and I told my boy, I said, this is what such a, he said, man, that ain't no heroin. I said, what is it? He said, man, that's the cracks, man. I said, the cracks? What is that? He said, you ain't heard of the cracks? You see, I had just got out the game myself. I had just got out the game. So I had just escaped when crack came in. See, when I left the scene, it was cocaine snorting it, right? And heroin people were shooting it, and it was weed, right? So when I got out the game, when I became a Christian, and I stopped using all of that when I became a Christian, so I didn't know anything about it. I had just escaped it. Not realizing what happened, my boy said, man, they giving the crack away. It's 10 times more powerful than cocaine. And when you smoke it, you hook almost immediately. He said, so they give it to the young girls because the young girls will do anything for them once they start giving it to them. I said, what? He said, yeah. So the crack came in and it was a scourge, man. That's when like before the crack, like brothers were hustlers, right? And they would be selling like heroin and stuff, but generally it would be like grown men, like a Nicky Barnes. That brother was like in his 30s, 40s, you know, when he started getting into that. But now you started seeing the hustlers start getting young. They was like teenagers, and now the game was heavy. Like they was coming with guns and stuff, and like where are they getting this artillery from, man? And they be coming with serious guns, man, and people was getting killed over it, like serious. And the game was like elevated. And I was seeing so many young brothers, 15, 14, 16, in caskets. Either got caught up in the game or was an unfortunate bystander in a war. And they was brothers. And I started seeing the sisters. They would do anything for $5. Y'all was there. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They would do anything for $5. Anything. Because they was caught up in the game. They just was hooked on that stuff. And what was going on is our government brought that to our neighborhoods after they cordoned us off in the neighborhood by economics, because we couldn't afford to live outside the neighborhood. If we had a job, we couldn't, the job didn't pay enough for us to be able to move out. So we end up staying there, and then they flooded it with that to try to destroy us. Then what happened now, it became epidemic. So brothers was killing each other over territory, right? The crack's coming in from above. I mean, it's coming in literally from above, right? And brothers fighting over territory, trying to get paid so they can survive. That's what it was. It was survival. Okay? So what happens? First, what they did, they said, oh, these niggas are criminals. I'm just being real with you. These niggas are criminals. George Bush, we need to get tough on crime. So they came out with the 3-strike law. Okay, we catch you once. Okay, we catch you twice. Okay, but we catch you a third time is life. They tried to destroy us. Right? So here it is now. That was the 80s. 30 years later, 30-something years later, here we are, right? And the opioids. They said the #1 killer of Caucasian males is opioids and suicide. These are the 2 top killers of Caucasian males: opioids and suicide. I'm not lying. Look it up for yourself. And it's not even like young boys, like the 22-year-olds. No. It's the ones that's over 40. Opioids and suicide. Because what we've been struggling with for 400 years, they're now getting a taste of. And what they threw on us is now coming back on them. And I'm just giving you one instance of many. I'm giving you one instance. When we talk about that game, that's just one. I'm not even going into the total pharmaceutical game that they brought out on us that's now backfiring on them. I'm not even going into the total, like this whole thing about getting flu shots and all this bull. You know, I'm not even going into all of that. I'm not even going into the whole economic game that they throwing on us. I'm not even going into all of that. We just touching base on just one little piece of how they tried to destroy us and how it's backfiring on them. And with the Father's Spirit, you're going to see that continue. See, when back in the 80s, I would see little black sisters, man, and they be in the street begging. They would do anything for you for $5. Anything you wanted for $5. Anything. And you know what I'm seeing now? You know what I'm seeing now? Little Caucasian girls doing the same thing. That's what I'm seeing now. I'm seeing little Caucasian girls doing the same thing, losing all their teeth because of the opioids, because of the meth, because of the crystal meth, losing all their teeth and going buck wild out here. I'm seeing it. Y'all seeing it too? It's backfiring. And I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying what comes around goes around. That's all I'm saying. What comes around goes around. Okay? It's backfiring. And I want to tell you right now, everything that they're doing, every single thing is going to go back on them. That's why the Bible clearly says, notice what it says, Revelation chapter 18. Notice what it says. We read this just a few weeks ago. Revelation chapter 18. Notice Revelation 18, verses 4 to 6. Revelation 18, verses 4 to 6. Look, watch what it says. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yah hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her, even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she had filled, fill to her double. See, it's already told us. And then again, we just read a few minutes ago in Deuteronomy chapter 30, where he said, all the stuff they did to you is going to come back on them. Them that afflicted you is going to get afflicted. So already you are seeing it, brothers and sisters. And this is the thing. You know, they can march in the streets with their skinheads. They can march in the streets with their Nazi signs. They can elect all the Trumps they want to. That doesn't matter, because I'm telling you right now, everything they're doing is going to come back on them. See, and all we need to do is focus on the Father's Spirit and give him his glory. We got to don't rejoice over your enemy like that, because then the Most High will turn his attention from them. No, we want to just give the Father his glory. That's all we want to do. We want to give the Father his glory, because he's going to bless his people. He's turning this game around. It's turning around. It's already started. See, those of us paying attention, you can see it's already started. There's still a large amount of us in jail and we're not supposed to be. There's still a large amount of us being killed every day on these streets in places like South Chicago. There's still a large amount of us being murdered like that, and they still supplying drugs. They still running them guns to us for us to kill each other. It's still happening, but it's already turning. You can see it. It's already starting to turn. It's already starting to turn. Okay? It's already. But what we need to do is focus on glorifying the Father, because it's already turning. We see it. We need to be prepared for the kingdom, and the kingdom is a kingdom of righteousness. And he's showing us. Now I want to show you this. Let's look at Revelation again. We read Revelation, but let's look at Revelation chapter 12. Revelation chapter 12, verse 17. Revelation 12:17. Notice Revelation 12:17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Yahweh and have the testimony of Messiah Yahweh Shai. Notice, brothers and sisters, remnant. See, there's a couple of themes that are throughout prophecy. And again, we're studying Ezekiel 6 today. There's a couple of themes. One is righteousness, the Father's righteousness. The other is the theme of remnant. Remnant, what's left? The remnant, what's left? That's been a theme throughout the Bible. And the Most High always shows us we don't need to be the majority. We just need to be in righteousness. He will take care of the numbers. What's left? The remnant of her seed. What's left? Her, the woman. We saw that from the beginning of chapter 12. It's the nation of Israel. That's the woman, the true nation of Israel, not the Israelite government that's here today, that Caucasian one from the Jews that say they're Jews and are not, the synagogue of Satan. No, the Hebrew Israelite people, the true people, the Hebrew Israelite of the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's the woman with the 12 stars on her head, the 12 tribes. That's the woman. And he said he went to make war with the remnant. That's what the crack trade is all about. That's what the heroin trade is all about. That's what all wars are about, trying to get brothers and sisters to join up for these wars so we can get all maimed up and killed. They can bring us back here. You see how they treat veterans when they come back here? They send you off to these wars. How they treat them veterans when they come back after fighting for this so-called democracy. You see so many of them in the street, homeless, ain't got no place to go. And these men are men of honor. And they're not trying to complain because they're men of honor, but they on the street treated like dog mess. Mess their heads up, mess their bodies up. That's right. And they won't complain, but you and I see it. And I'm telling all the Hebrews, don't join up with none of these armed forces with these people. They're not going to treat you right. They're going, first of all, they're going to inject you with stuff. You don't want that. You don't want that. They're going to brainwash you. And they're going to send you into harm's way for a few rich Caucasian people to profit. That's what they're doing. Don't fall for it. You can't be in this man's army and be in Yah's army. Be in Yah's army. That's the one that's going to win. You're going to be outnumbered, but don't worry. You got the Father fighting for you. And you will win. That war you will not lose. And you will be treated with the honor that you're supposed to be. Praise the Most High. So it's a remnant that's left. Remember we talked about it last night? Two-thirds of us are going to go away. 1/3 left, a remnant. Same with the heathen. Same with the heathen. Remember? He said to Gog and Magog, I'm going to leave but a sixth part of you. 1/6. 1/3 of the Hebrew, 1/6 of the rest of y'all. I'm going to leave 1/6 of y'all. I'm going to turn the rest of y'all out. A remnant. So brothers and sisters, one thing we don't need to get caught up in, don't get caught up in the numbers, man. Because more than likely, wherever you are on this earth, there's going to be very few of you. Very few. He's going to have you by yourself because he's training each of us to trust him, to trust in his law, to obey him where we are. 1/3 of us, 1/6 of them. That's all that's going to be left. Don't look for majorities. Don't look. See, the pagans got you looking on corners for churches and denominations like you need a whole bunch of people with you. That's not the Most High's people. John the Baptist stood by himself. Elijah stood by himself. Messiah said, I walk this winepress alone. And none with me. He's training each of us in that same school. He told us in Isaiah 50, I called your father Abraham by himself. He said, look unto the rock from whence you are hewn. Look at Abraham. I call him by himself. Now, if there's 2 or 3 of us together, praise the Most High. A couple of families can find each other. Most High have it that way. Praise the Most High. Don't look for no big crowds, though, because it's not going to be that way. And I'm telling you, when I see some of these so-called Hebrew Israelites, and I say so-called, they raise themselves up, and there's 2 things that give them away as government agents. 2 things. Listen carefully. 2 things that give them away as government agents. Are you ready? 2 things. Number 1, they're asking you for money. They're asking you for money. They're asking you for money, right? Number 1, they're asking you for money. That's number 1. Number 1, they're asking you for money. When they start asking you for money, go the other way. You shouldn't be having to come out your pockets for these Negroes. Okay, you should not be having to come out your pocket for these Negroes. Why do I say that? Listen carefully. This is number 1 sign. Listen carefully. I'm going to give you the second one in a minute. But listen carefully, brothers and sisters. First off, we know the Most High does not need Federal Reserve notes for his spirit to come down on a man. He does not need Federal Reserve notes for his spirit to come down on a man. Are you listening to me? Okay? That's number one. He does not need pagan Federal Reserve notes for his program to go forward. His spirit got nothing to do with that. You cannot buy his spirit. Number two, we're in a Babylonian economic system of worldwide proportions. Listen to me carefully. We're in a Babylonian economic system of worldwide proportions. All of us are in some sort of debt. Most of us are poor. Just because you got a car to drive in don't mean you're not poor. If you're making a note on that car, you poor. You making a note on your house, you got to pay some bank for your house, you poor. You don't own it. And even if you did pay it off, you better pay them taxes or they taking it. The way this society is going in this unjust system, all you're going to get is a very small amount in the top that's got all the assets. Because, brothers and sisters, even as I'm talking to you, 1% of the population owns 90% of the assets. 1% of the population owns at least 90% of the assets on planet Earth. And when this country, the United States, was in its heyday, it was because there was a large middle class, which didn't include Hebrews. They were just Caucasian middle class people getting blessed by their own government. That's why they killed Martin Luther King. The year they killed Martin Luther King, 1968, April 1968, it was in May of that year he was planning a Poor People's March. You know what he said? He said, they done helped all these foreigners coming here, and we work for free. We going to Washington to get our check. They killed that brother. We killed him before that. They killed him before he could do that. When he was awakening to what was happening, boom, they killed him. See? So I'm trying to tell you, this system is corrupt. It's never made for you. It's not created for you to prosper in it. Okay? So people up here begging for money is begging you to further invest yourself in this system. Whatever dollars you get, you better pay your bills, pay your light bill, because they'll shut that mess off on you. And don't call on Jesus when you ain't got no lights, or you ain't got no food, or you ain't got no money in the bank, and you got to pay your debts. They done told you need to get a degree. You went and got a degree. Now you owe, and you still ain't getting paid. Because it's not made for you to get paid. So when they telling you reach in your pockets for their so-called ministry, you need to raise up off that. Back up. Back up. Don't listen to me if you don't want to, but I'm telling you the truth as the Most High is revealing it to me. Back up. Oh, you need money for this uniform, man. If they asking you for money for them Halloween costumes, you need to back up. Back up. It's a game. They gaming you. Back up. Some slick dude, oh, we need money to keep the lights on in the church. Back up. Back up. Ain't nobody told you to get no daggone building. Ain't nobody told you to do that. That's your business, son. You hear what I'm saying? So that's number one. Number two, when you start seeing them trying to get large crowds, like one dude getting like 10,000 people or 5,000 people and get all these people following him, back up. They're the Messiah syndrome right there. Back up. See, brothers and sisters, this movement is not about any individual. It really is not. This movement is on a grassroots level. This movement's on the street level, brothers and sisters. This is the real thing. You know what they used to say back in the 60s? The revolution will not be televised. And that was the truth. Because the Most High Spirit is not televised. You can't televise a spirit. So don't let nobody fool you. Don't they out here trying to get 1 million subscribers and get 1 million people following them and flying all over the world. Back up. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it. Okay, your Messiah syndrome right there. Watch it. Be careful. See? And they always gonna get somebody to look like you. They're gonna get somebody that looks like you. Somebody you can relate to. And they're gonna use them to bamboozle you. Stick with the word. Stick with the Father's Spirit. Stick with the word. You'll be safe in the word. You're safe in the word. Remember, me and Ak was just talking the other day. We was talking about that. And we was going back and forth a little bit because there was some things he didn't understand from the scriptures. And he was trying to argue a little bit. And I said, listen, man, at the end of the day, I said, listen, man, we're only safe when we stick in the word. And he said, you know what? You're right. I said, we're only safe when we stick in the word. You leave the word, you leave the Father's Spirit, you're in trouble. Don't let nobody fool you. Don't let their numbers or their money or they charismatic ways fool you. The Gentiles get caught up in that. We don't need to get caught up in that. We want the Father's Spirit. We're trying to bring glory and honor to him. We can only do that as we give him obedience, render obedience to the Father. You want to give money? Well, you know somebody that's poor, right? All of us do. You know somebody that's struggling. Somebody that can't pay next month's car note. Somebody that can't pay the gas bill and is getting cold. Somebody that got kids and they need some clothes. You know people like that. That's where the money's supposed to go. You want to give somebody something? Do that. Buy some groceries for somebody that can't buy it. Somebody out here working hard, working two jobs. I know brothers working 2 jobs, still can't make their ends meet at the end of every month. Them's the ones need the help. Them's the ones need to help. Don't give it to no slick talking pastor talking about his ministry, talking about he's awakened and all that. Or for some daggone Halloween uniform for some alphabet soup so-called movement. Don't do that. Put your money where it's supposed to be. Where the Most High has, we have read Deuteronomy, we have read the book of the law. The tithe were for the Levites, the poor, the fatherless, the widow. That's where the money's supposed to go. You want to put money somewhere? Find somebody that ain't got enough food at the end of the month. I used to work for many years in a daggone soup kitchen. I worked in the soup kitchen many years, man. And at the end of the month, you should see the lines. These old Caucasian people, old black people, because they Social Security, they months ain't meeting, the ends ain't meeting the money, man. And they ain't got enough for food. They be trying to get anything. They about to go on the street, and so they come to you for some free meal. They come to you for some free food. That's where the money's supposed to go, man. That's where it's supposed to go. If you got money to buy a building, how many, like if you're going to buy a building, right? And let's say you're going to get the building cheap. And when I mean cheap, I mean like you might pay 50, 100 grand for it. That's cheap in this day and age. The most likely they cost much more than that, right? But if you could get 50 to 100 grand put together, let me ask you, how many poor families can you support with groceries with 50 to 100 grand? How many poor families that's living in someplace that you can support with that money? Can you imagine? So let me ask you, how does it look? You buying a building and you look all nice and y'all can show up to your nice building and you got people that can't even buy groceries that month. Well, I mean, what kind of mess is that? You understand? That don't even sound right. Brothers driving cars and need brakes and can't afford it. Cars squeaking, driving on, y'all know what I'm talking about, driving on the donut, man. We did that one time. My wife and I drove on the donut for months, man. Because we ain't had enough money to get a tire and was praying that we didn't get another flat. You know what I'm saying? So brothers can't buy a tire and y'all building stuff, man. No, man. Mm-mm. My brother-in-law came to visit, saw it and bought us a tire. We were so happy. In the car, because the tires were when the tires are worn unevenly on your car, right? Even you get a new tire and it's worn unevenly, you know what happens? Your car starts to shake because one tire is more worn than the other tires. It's funny, but it's crazy. But that's what happens, man. That's the deal. You understand? So that's the people that need the tithe money. I used to think, man, the car needs an alignment. No, it wasn't no alignment, man. You done wore out the other tires unevenly and you got a new tire. So the tire's uneven. And so the car's going to shake. because the tires are worn unevenly. Really, when you replace one, you're supposed to replace two at the same time because, you know, it's even wear on the car. And you're supposed to rotate the tires. But when you pour, you don't think about all of that. You're just trying to survive, man. So a remnant is going to be left. A remnant. Between all of the corruption going on. See, so as I said to you, so when you got people that's asking you for money, walk away. When they trying to draw large crowds to get, you know, disciples, that's what the Bible said, they want to make disciples after themselves, walk away. And yes, somebody brought up the 501c3. That kind of goes along with the money situation, because whenever they get 501c3, they get bold in asking you for money because they say, well, you can write it off on your taxes. You can write it off on Caesar's taxes. So check that out. The Most High needs you to be a 501c3 so that you can get his kingdom, but you're going to do it with Caesar's money and in Caesar's tax rules. Right? That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? You hear what I'm saying? I mean, how crazy is that? But that's how we're being taught. That's what we're being fooled into thinking. That's how the majority of people believe. You understand? That's why it's what? A remnant. A remnant. A remnant that's left. A remnant. Because most of the folks are going to go for these games, man. And they're going to think that these majorities mean something, and they don't. Only thing that means anything, brothers and sisters, is truth. That's it, brothers and sisters. Truth is everything. Truth is the most important thing. Truth is illustrated in the word of the Most High. That's the most important thing. And the majority of people, because the majority of people are into man stuff, they're not going to be into the word. They're not going to be into truth. You have to understand that. So that you might be by yourself with the word. It's okay, because so were the prophets before us. So was the fathers before us. It's okay. And believe it, angels will be around you. They will take care of you. Let's look at some more of the Bible before we get into Ezekiel 6. Notice again, just a remnant. Isaiah chapter 1. Isaiah chapter 1. Notice again, Isaiah chapter 1. I am going to start at verse, let's see. I'm going to start at verse 6. I'm going to start at verse 6, and I'm going to go down to verse 9. Isaiah chapter 1, 6 to 9. 6 to 9. Notice again. We're going to read a little bit more. Just stay in there also, Isha, because we're going to stay in his for a second here. So notice again, from the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. Your country is desolate. Your cities are burned with fire. Your land strangers devour it in your presence. It is desolate as overthrown by strangers. And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in a vineyard, as a lodge in a garden of cucumbers, as a besieged city, except Yahweh of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant. We should have been as Sodom. We should have been like unto Gomorrah. Look, brothers and sisters, in this verse, he's talking about what they had. They had a country. We don't have one now. They had cities. We don't have one now. Look at where we are. We don't own none of this stuff. We in Babylon. And I understand, listen, I'm not trying to break on the brothers trying to get together, you know, having feasts and keeping feasts. I have no problem with that. But you know, I have to be honest with you. I'm just being real with you as I try to be. It makes me sick, and I'll tell you why. I'm not saying brothers shouldn't keep feasts. As a matter of fact, I encourage brothers to go ahead and do it. But it makes me sick because it makes me understand that we're in Babylon. We're trying to keep a feast in Babylon. You know, when you keep a real feast, you don't have to ask your boss for time off. You don't. When we in the kingdom and it's ready for feast time, everybody's coming. Ain't nobody got to ask anybody for time off of work. You coming. Everybody's going to make their way to the kingdom of the New Jerusalem, and we're going to keep the feast. But right now, you try to keep feast, you got to do it on a weekend. A weekend. Why? Because your master said you need to be at work. And them bills got to be paid or you ain't eating. Huh? You keep a feast now, you need to make it, you need to arrange it where you could get time off. Or you living with your mama somewhere and you could just go because you ain't working. I mean, I'm just being real with y'all. Because we in Babylon, man. I'm just being real. When you in the kingdom, right? And it's time for the Shabbat, everybody's gonna be there. The whole, I don't care if you a heathen that's saved, but you gonna be off from work on the Shabbat. All right? And there's no be no issue. But now you gotta talk to your boss about getting off on the Sabbath. Isn't that true? I'm not lying to you. You talk to your boss. Master, can I gotta take the Sabbath off because of my religion. And there's them bills, man. There's that gas bill, there's that electric bill. Your daughter needs some shoes, huh? And you got to get paid. So you sweating. You got to ask your boss. I need the Sabbath off. And everybody, listen, man. I swallow hard, but I do it. I said, listen, sir, I cannot work Saturdays. It's my religion. What's your religion? I'm an Israelite. I can't work Saturday. Where's your church? Ain't no church. They say, well, bring me a letter from your pastor. I'm the pastor. That's what I thought. I'm the pastor. Ain't no letter. I can write you a letter. I'm the pastor. See? But that's we got to do that. And we're always taking a risk. We could lose the job. And listen, I'm not demanding all brothers do that. I'm just telling you, this is what I do. I'm just telling you. Some brothers don't want to make that, because you don't struggle, you done been hungry, you 1 foot from the street and you don't want to go. So they say, I need you to come in Saturday. You don't ask no question, you come in, right? Some people do that, okay. I just know in my experience, I have not done that because I've been in that situation. You okay? I'm not lying to you, but we in Babylon. We in Babylon. So these brothers wanting to keep feasts. I got it. Okay, cool. I'm glad. Go ahead, keep your feast. And if I can make it, if I got money to get there, I want to get there in fellowship with the ox and the cots. Okay, cool. But we in Babylon, man. We don't own this land. We don't own this system. Okay? And you could get all the guns you want to. The guns are Smith and Wesson. Smith and Wesson, that's a Babylonian company. Okay? And if they want to take your guns, they take them because that's theirs to take. I'm just telling you. At the end of the day, we are trusting in the Most High, and He's going to have a remnant of us that He's going to save from this mess, man. You have a remnant of us. And the remnant is determined in how much we want to glorify the Father, how much we want to give glory to the Father and be obedient to His commandments, statutes, and judgments. The remnant is determined by that. And by virtue that it is a remnant, we should understand how the situation really is. The Messiah said himself, except those days should be shortened, right? Remember that? He said, except those days should be shortened, should no flesh be saved. So he's shortening the days so that the remnant can make it. And he's going to have a remnant because his word will come to pass. It will not return unto him void. His word's going to come to pass. And he's going to establish his kingdom. It's going to be established here. He's going to destroy all these kingdoms, all these fake religions. He's going to destroy. And it's going to be, listen, I know it's hard to believe. I know it's hard to believe. You've been brainwashed into white Jesus. I get it. It's okay. But believe it. You serve the only true creator. He has only revealed himself to one people, the nation of Israel. He said, I have chosen you above all the people of the earth. I've chosen you. And he did it on purpose because he would choose the most humble of the people. He would choose the most downtrodden of the people. He would choose the most oppressed of the people and make them his. He would do that because he wants to show the heathen in the whole world. I don't need the biggest, strongest ones. I'll take who I want and make them the top dog if I want to. And he's doing it. He chose Israel. Ain't no Allah, ain't no Muhammad, ain't no Buddha, ain't no Maharishi or whoever else you want to follow. Ain't no yogi, ain't no pope, ain't no reverend. Ain't but one. And he chose one people, and he's awakening that one people. See, the by virtue that we are the most downtrodden one, that's the blessing. That's what we understand. It's the awakening. We say, wait a minute. Why have we been the most chosen? Why have we been beaten down like this? How come every time we start a business it fails? People come here from Korea, come here from Taiwan and prospering. How come we can't get done? People coming here from India and blowing it up. How come we can't do it? How come only Weinsteins and Feinsteins own the music industry in Hollywood? How come we can't do it? You know why? Because it's not for us. We got one that's hiding all of that. Hiding all of that. The kingdom that's coming, when that city comes, that gold that look clear as crystal, when that city comes and that tree of life and that river of life come out of it, that's us. That's us. And the whole earth's going to know. But only a minority, only a remnant can see it right now. See? Only a remnant can see it. But that's for us. Oh yeah, we the most despised, the most hated. I mean, just because of the color of our skin and the thickness of our lips, they will hate us. But it's okay. We got a kingdom. The creator, the only true God is with us. Believe it. He's with us. And he's allowing all of this to come because he wants us to stop looking to man. He wants us to look to him. And our fathers, that's why we read Ezekiel. We're looking at it and we understand it, the mistakes our fathers made. As the Most High has prophesied, we looking back and we say, oh, that's what happened. We start trying to be like the heathen. Oh, that's what happened. We start trying to worship like them. Oh, we thought we were Egyptians and we wasn't. Oh, we thought we was Americans and we wasn't. Oh. Oh, we thought we were Jamaican. We wasn't. Puerto Rican. We wasn't. Puerto Rico, man. That's a good example. My wife is Puerto Rican. Puerto Rico, rich port. Who gave it that name? Did the original Hebrews, who were the Indians, give it that name? No. Them Spaniards came over there, raped, looted, and pillaged, and called it rich port. See what I'm saying? Ain't no such thing as a Puerto Rican. There's a Hebrew. There's a Hebrew. That's what it is. Y'all Hebrews. And if y'all want to be Caucasian, okay, y'all Caucasian, but ain't no such thing as a Puerto Rican. Ain't no such thing as a Cuban or Haitian or Dominican. All y'all either Hebrews or sons of Yafet. And if you got that X chromosome, boy, you was a Hebrew. Don't try to deny it. Don't try to put your nose up and say you Dominican. You better put that away. Because the truth, you a Hebrew. I don't care how straight you make your hair. I don't care what color you put in your eyes or how much you lighten your skin. You's Hebrew. And you should be glad. No, we're not going to make it in this Caucasian man's world, but this world is not going to make it either. It's not going to make it. It's all about to be destroyed. And it's hard for us to believe. I understand. Really, you look out and you see us being slaughtered, you see us being incarcerated and dogged up, and we can't get nothing going. But see, it's very simple. As we have been reading, it shall come to pass that when these things come upon you, the blessing and the curse which I have set before you, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither I have driven you, and shalt return to your Creator and obey his voice. Keep his commandments. I'm going to bless you. And he's not going to, don't look for no blessing. It's not like it's not the Bentley. Don't look for Bentley, man. Look for your ability to fly. Don't look for the Bentley. Look for your ability to walk on water. Look for your ability to be in a dimension that man can't even think about, because that's what's going to happen. Look for your ability to see for miles and miles and miles, because he's going to be able to give that to you. Look for the kingdom that's getting ready to come, that's going to last forever, even forever and ever, that will never be destroyed, because Messiah getting ready to come and destroy all these kingdoms. You remember what he told Abraham? He said, Abraham, I want you to go out and look in the stars and see if you can count them, because that's what your seed is going to be. I want you to look to the north, to the east, to the west, because as far as you can see, I'm giving it to you and to your seed. Brothers and sisters, it's the same thing. We're going to get that land, but not just that. We're going to run the earth, brothers and sisters. Look to the earth and you can see all of these cities, they're going to be destroyed. And it's going to be us that's going to be the priests and the kings here. Don't let this heathen fool you. They only got this stuff temporarily. And you can see that it's temporary because they only live a certain long time, right? They live 60, 70, 80 years, 90 years, sometimes 100. And that's it. That's the end of it. I don't care what Rockefeller, how much money they got, how much money the Rothschilds got. That can't save their Caucasian from behind from the grave they going to, because they going there. For us, when Yah sends Messiah and we take over this kingdom, there's going to be no end to it, man. It's not going 10,000 years and we just getting warmed up, man. I know it's hard to see it, but that's why it's a remnant. Not everybody's going to see it. Not everybody's going to see it. It's for the remnant. Praise the Most High. It's for the remnant. Don't think anything in this world is permanent. It's not. This whole system is temporary. So let's read some verses from Ezekiel chapter 6. We'll take a break and we'll come back and do the rest of it. Ezekiel chapter 6 from verse 1. Ezekiel chapter 6 from verse 1 down to verse 5. Noted what it says, Ezekiel 6, 1 to 5. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face toward the mountains of Israel, and prophesy against them, and say, Ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Most High Yahweh. Thus saith the Most High Yahweh to the mountains and to the hills, to the rivers and to the valleys. Behold, I, even I, will bring a sword upon you. I will destroy your high places. Your altars shall be desolate, and your images shall be broken. And I will cast down your slain men before your idols, and I will lay the dead carcasses of the children of Israel before their idols, and I will scatter your bones round about your altars. He's a jilted husband, man. He's a jilted husband. He's not playing. So listen. If he's treating his chosen people like that because of their sin, what these heathen got to look forward to? I mean, if he punishing us like that, what the heathen got to look forward to? I mean, we his chosen ones. And he said, look, you want to worship all these other gods? I'm gonna scatter your dead ashes around your idols. I'm gonna destroy all your idols. You want to worship these fake gods? I'm your husband and you go into others? I'm gonna destroy all of you and put you right with them. That's what he's doing. What the heathen got to look forward to? If he's doing that to his chosen, and then he turned around, remember he turned around and said, those that afflicted you, I'm going to afflict them. Those that put their hands on you, they're going to catch double. And he said it, he says it in several places. And one of the strong ones is Jeremiah 30, verse 11. That's one of the strong ones. Notice, and this is the theme of the whole thing, Jeremiah 30, verse 11. Notice what it says. For I am with thee, saith Yahweh, to save thee. Notice what it says here. Though I make a full end. This is Jeremiah 30, 11. Though I make a full end of all nations, whether I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. See, so what he's describing is happening to us. He's going to bring double on the heathen. And he said very plainly, I'm going to make what? A full end of all nations. See, he's going to completely annihilate and destroy everything else on this planet. That's what it says. And many places, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, they all say it. All the prophets say it. See, either you don't believe the Bible or you do. If you believe the Bible, it says that in many places. But we just said that's just a synopsis of what it says in many places. I'm going to make a full end. It's going to be as though you had not been. I'm going to make it as if you was never here. See, he punishing us. That's why we need to see. That's why we getting spanked like this. That's why he allowed us to be coming here on in chains. That's why we can't get rights in a country that's supposed to be free. That's why we can't do it. That's why all of this happened to us, because he's spanking us because of the sins of our fathers. And we need to repent of our sins and the sins of our fathers. We need to come back to the Most High God. And like I said, man, either you all in on this, don't waste time, brothers and sisters. If you want to be with this US dollar and you want to get with this program, you need to go ahead and go for yours, because you're not going to get it and you're not going to have the Most High at the same time. You just can't do it. It's a lie. You cannot get rich in this earth and have Yah. Y'all don't want Caesar's money. That's an enemy of Yah. Caesar and his game and his kingdom is an enemy to the Most High Yah. They are enemies. You can't have what the devil is giving you and have what the Most High is giving you at the same time. You might be poor in this world, but it's better than to get the kingdom. You gotta make your decision. What you want? You want the kingdom? That's what Elijah said. How long halt you between two opinions? You want to go for Baal? Go for yours. Otherwise, serve Yah. Because you can't have both. And we're looking here and we're seeing, he said, I'm gonna destroy your high places. I'm gonna make your images broken. I'm gonna make your dead bodies around your altars. That's what he told our fathers, because they wanted Baal. They wanted this world stuff. They want Caesar. They even said, his blood be on us and on our children. We only have one king, that's Caesar. Our fathers said that. That's why we catching it like we catching it. But he also said, praise the Most High. At the end, when you think about all this in the countries where you scattered in your enemies' lands, eating your defiled bread, some of y'all gonna wake up. I'm gonna catch a remnant of y'all. You're gonna wake up, and we're gonna turn this mess out. No, the revolution will not be televised. It's gonna be a remnant of y'all. Don't look for it on reality TV. It's not gonna be there. Don't look for any of your favorite television personalities to awaken. It's not going to happen. Don't hold your breath. It's going to be these ignorant and unlearned men. They looked at the 12 brothers, the 12 Negroes, that was Hebrews, that was the apostles, and they said, these are unlearned and ignorant men. What they know? Ha! Same, it ain't changed, man. It ain't changed. It ain't changed. Ezekiel chapter 6. From verse 6 to 8. We're going to stop there and take a break. Ezekiel 6 to 8. Notice what it says. In all your dwelling places, the cities shall be laid waste, and the high places shall be desolate, that your fathers be laid waste and made desolate, and your idols may be broken and cease, and your images may be cut down, and your works may be abolished. And the slain shall fall in the midst of you, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. Yet will I leave a remnant, that ye may have some that shall escape the sword among the nations, and ye shall be scattered through the countries. That's a theme that we see all over the Bible. A remnant scattered throughout the countries, among the heathens, that is the nations. That's how we are, scattered. When you see a bunch of us, that is Hebrews, in one place, it's a ghetto. Why? Because they make it a ghetto. Because they make sure you're a ghetto. You're poor. They flood you with drugs. They mess up your education. You don't get the same I don't listen. The heathen can lie about it if they want to. When they put us in one neighborhood, we don't get the same education level as they get. We don't get the same situation. We don't get taught the same. I remember when my father, mother, I went to this Caucasian school, was in high school, and there was just one busload of us, and I counted it one day, 66 busloads of them and one busload of us going to school. And even in our busload, they took me and a couple of us and put us with the Caucasians in a different class, and the rest of my brothers and sisters was they called it adjustment. And then we was all this, they were just putting them in a jet, and they wasn't getting taught the same, even in the heathen school. And then there was across the street from us was a different town, and that school was dog. It was mostly black, and it was dog books, dog teachers. They didn't give a crap about what them brothers learned. And then when they just graduated them, got them out of there with a high school diploma, and they ain't know nothing. Wasn't prepared for no college, wasn't ready for nothing. That's how they treat us. And it ain't changed. Then you go through that over the course of decades and scores of years and centuries, and you're going to be behind. Not to mention how they give them more economic, advantages than us. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna be behind, and you are never going to catch up. Don't get it twisted. I don't care what program they come up with. It will never bring us back to level with them. It will never be, because they don't want that. And the Most High don't want it either, because he don't want us trusting in that system. We will never be equal with them in this system. It's not going to happen. Just be real. But we're going to be higher than them, because he has a system for us. When we keep the commandments, statutes, and judgments, the Bible says he makes us more smarter than the ancients, because we keep his laws. We have the Father's Spirit. It's the Father's Spirit that gives any man any type of intelligence, real intelligence. Satan himself didn't receive nothing that he didn't get from the Father. And of all the evil, he's the most intelligent. And he got that from the Father. No, we're not going to be equal with them in this system. We're not built to be, and they don't make it to be. It's okay though, because we're going to have a system that's going to be a system of a nation that's part of a kingdom of perfect righteousness. We don't need this, where somebody's poor on the street begging and somebody living in the penthouse. That's not going to be the case in the Father's kingdom. Praise the Most High. But he's going to leave a remnant so that we understand from whence we fell. And my people which are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face. Then will I hear from heaven and forgive their sin and heal their land. That's the word. See, either you in or you out. That's all I can say. Either you in or you out. If you in, go all in, man. If you out, get out. That's all I'm saying. Because you got people trying to use the word to gain. That's what I'm saying. Be careful of these people asking you for money and these 501c3s, these people trying to get followers after themselves. Be careful, brothers and sisters. There's a lot of them trying to use the word to deceive you. Father don't need any of that in his kingdom. He's looking for individuals that want to give him glory in righteousness in his spirit. And he's going to have them. The only question is, you going to be in or out? Because that's what the deal is. You're going to be in or out. And see, listen to me. I'm definitely not trying to start no church. You know this. I'm not trying to start. I don't want no church. Don't give me no church. I don't want your money. I don't want nothing from y'all. I'm just trying to give you what the Father's giving me. I don't want 1 million subscribers. I don't. That's why you don't see these videos ain't fancy. It's a word, and it's an hour to word. And I know even myself, when I'm looking at YouTube videos, I can't look at nothing that's over 10 minutes. I don't want to look at it. Unless it's rich word, I'll listen to it. Some brothers come for some stuff, I'll listen to it. But very few people will do that. I know that. The Father has ordained it. You listening to this, you want to. Okay? Because we ain't, nah. Praise Yah. I'm an old dude, but I could work. I could work, and he has blessed me with health and strength, and he's put his word on my tongue, and I just give it. Whatever y'all receive. But I'm just telling you, either you in or you out. If you're going to go in, go all in, man. Go all in. Because you'll be blessed. You're not going to be blessed on this earth, but you're going to bless you. You're going to take care of you. You're going to have what your food you need. You're going to have the shelter you need. And then when the time is over, you're going to be on your own, just like all of us out here in the woods running, in mountains running somewhere, in forests and deserts running. And then he's going to deliver us, just like he delivered our fathers. He's going to deliver us, praise the Most High. He's going to deliver us. But either you're going to believe his word or you're not. Time is now. Because we see it. Ain't much time left, man. When you see a Donald Trump arise as the president of the United States and you see these Caucasians tripping over him, you, brothers and sisters, it's a sign that the 144,000 seal is coming. And it's a sign, as we are awakening, it's a sign that it's almost over. It's not going to last much longer, man. It's not going to last much longer. It's coming to a head. We got another war that's coming. You could all feel it. I ain't prophesying when I say that. You know there's another big war coming. You could see it. And don't be sending your Hebrew young boys into it. I don't care how bad it's out here on the street. Don't join these brothers. Don't join these people's wars, man. They're just fooling you. They're trying to kill you. Because that's what's coming. See, when these people fighting all their wars, they're fighting for territory. Don't fight with them over this earth. This earth belongs to you and it belongs to your father. You ain't got to fight for no real estate on this planet. When they fighting over there in Vietnam, they fighting over that real estate. They fighting over democracy versus communism. Hey, listen, let them fight that. That's their problem. That ain't got nothing to do with us. Muhammad Ali was right. I ain't got no fight with them. I ain't got no fight with them. Don't fight with their wars. When they sending you over into Iraq and Afghanistan to fight for freedom. What freedom you fighting for? For what? For you to be in debt? For you to come back here and struggle as a veteran on the street? What you fighting for? What? The truth be told, most people go over there because they so poor and they ain't got no place else to go. They ain't got nothing else going on, so they get sign up bonuses and they promise you free education and all that. That's why most people join and they come back here and get dogged. Nah, let them keep it. You can struggle without them. Because that's what's coming. The war is coming. There's going to be a war. They're already building up for China, Korea, whatever. It's coming. These people can't help themselves. And you know, brothers and sisters, the truth of the matter is, if it wasn't for the Most High holding back them winds until the 144,000 is sealed, these people would have killed themselves off the earth many times over. Many times over, it's been over, man. They will kill themselves off the earth. That's how crazy they are. Stay away from that mess, man. Stay with the Father. He's the only one. Him and his kingdom, they're going to make it through. Rest of this stuff is getting ready to be destroyed. Just like he laid it on our people like this back in the day and laid it on us now, he's going to lay it on them in a minute. They're getting ready to catch it. That's right. Stay away from all that. Stay away from the military. Stay away from the government. Stay away from that. Stay away from them voting. Stay away from all that. Don't get caught up in it. They always trying to exploit you. That's all they do. Stay with your Father. And they're going to trip on you for staying with the Father. But the Father's above them. Stay with the Father. Don't trust in none of this. When you get a blessing, if you got enough to make it for this month, fine. Good. Father's taking care of you. Praise the Most High. Let's take a break. We're going to stop here. I'm going to take a pause. We're going to have part 2